And now the realtor shows up and says, clean this place out, do this list of rehab items. We're just like, I don't even live in town. I got to get back on the plane in 2 days. Like, what are we doing here? And that's where Mom's House was born. There has to be a better way. The 6 reasons why the Mom's House leads or the senior living leads are the best. And to be clear, I'm not talking about turning a single family home into a residential assisted living community. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying the families that move their parent from their forever home into the senior living community, that's the moment they need to sell the house to unlock the equity for care. And so there's 6 reasons. The first is which is the motivation, right? When a doctor tells the family, hey, when mom gets out of rehab in 3 weeks because she fell down and broke her hip, she's going to be fine, but she can't move back home now. But you're like, what do you mean she can't move back home? And if George and Philip are brothers, we're looking at each other going, is she going to live by you? Is she going to live by me? Does she live by where she lives now? What level of care does she need? How are we going to pay for this? What are we going to do with the house? What are we going to do with the stuff? Like, we literally go into crisis mode. And so that motivation is real. It's real motivation. The second reason is this is the generation that have lived in their house since, I bought a house the other day, they owned it since 1963. Right? 1963. You know how long ago that was? I mean, that's forever ago. 1963. A lot of these families bought it in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and they haven't moved since. And that person's forever home is where their equity sits. Some families in the United States have a ton of money, but most don't. Their equity is tied up in their home and they need to unlock that equity. So the number 2 reason is almost 9 times out of 10, George, these families own these houses outright. The other 10% might be a small second mortgage or maybe a reverse mortgage, but almost always they own it outright. So that's, as an investor, that's phenomenal news for us because the mortgage isn't going to stand in the way of me buying the house. The third reason is, even if the house is clean, it's what I lovingly call grandma clean, right? There's the hot water heater's new, the roof got replaced 3 years ago, but that paneling is in the wrong spot. The kitchen, mom got a new kitchen, but it was in 1991 when she got the new kitchen. So now the new kitchen's actually already old again because she's lived there so long, it's just dated. It's just not retail ready. And then let's not forget about the stuff. The stuff is a bigger deal than you guys give credit to, or we as an industry give credit to. The stuff can be your crippling reason why they don't sell to you because they're so scared to not do right by the brothers and sisters. Like that adult child that's helping mom, usually the brunt of all this falls on one, I call it the most responsible child's shoulders to coordinate all this stuff and coming into mom's house and picking out all the heirlooms and all these things. And that can take weeks, if not months, to get the family. Crazy stat is, George, the average child lives over 400 miles away from where mom lives. And so imagine trying to rehab a house when you live 400 miles away, right? That house is full of stuff. And so the stuff is a big deal. It's a house that I, as an investor, can add value to. I'm looking to add value, right? If every house was 2 years old, George, we'd have a lot less to do in this business, right? But we're looking for houses that need to be updated. These are those houses. The fourth reason is less competition. When I get these leads from people in senior living, when they refer to me and say, they put me on a pedestal and say, Philip's the guy I call. He takes care of the house. He takes care of the stuff. There's less competition with that. I'm usually competing with myself or maybe against a real estate agent, but it's never me versus like 10 other investors, like direct mail or pay-per-click. Like those kind of leads that, in my mind, they create what's called a cattle call, right? Where everybody in town shows up for that lead because everybody's working that same lead. With this, there's less competition. The fifth reason is the most important. That warm transfer of trust from someone in senior living, like a placement agent or an elder care attorney or a financial director or executive director, when they say, Philip's my guy, he's the most trusted guy in town, that's the guy I go to get rid of this problem. He's the one that helps families unlock that equity for care and he makes it easy on you. That warm transfer of trust is the most valuable thing in all of this, right? They're saying, they almost think they have to sell me the house, but in that becomes responsibility now, right? That you've got seniors, in a time of need, can you have a good heart condition to help people do right by the senior? I'm not saying you can't be in a for-profit business. That's not true at all. Of course, we can make money in real estate, but do you have the empathy to try to help these people in their time of need? So you add those 5 reasons together, and you're like, yeah, I want these leads. These sound like the best leads ever. And then when you hear what the 6th reason is like, okay, that was the cherry on top. It's that when you do this right, I'm going to teach you guys how to find these leads to come to you from those different people in senior living. You're now a tool for that person in senior living to have their job go easier. What's in it for them, right? Everybody cares about what's in it for them. So if you're a placement agent and you get paid on placing someone, having that house's equity unlocked helps them move in quicker. And now you get paid quicker, right? I'm a tool now for all these different job titles in senior living. I help them make more money with the clients they already have. And that's why these leads are free. So the best leads in real estate are actually free. You just have to know who to build the relationships with. You have to know what not to say, George. I don't do it as a real estate investor, that I word. We love that I word. We can say investor all day long, but in the senior living world, all they hear is the word shark, right? That's all they hear when you say, I'm an investor. And it might even be worse is when you say, I'm a real estate agent. Like, oh shit, it's even worse. So like an investor and real estate agent. And the reason why it is, when they hear the word investor, they hear the word shark. When they hear the word real estate agent, that's how they've been fixing this problem for the past 35 years. There's nothing new there, right? That's the way it's been fixed. And sometimes the problem with the real estate agent is when they walk into a house that maybe, I haven't said this yet, but what do you call a hoarder that you like? If somebody's a hoarder, but you like him, what do you call him, George?
Grandma.
An aggressive collector. You know, grandma, she wasn't quite a hoarder, but she was a bit of an aggressive collector. And so that's how I lovingly refer to it. And so when that realtor walks in, remember, they just found out mom fell down, that she had to have a surgery. You found out the place that George and Philip picked out is $8,000 a month because we pick out the nicest one, not the cheapest one, right? And we're like, and now the realtor shows up and says, clean this place out, do this list of rehab items. We're just like, I don't even live in town. I got to get back on the plane in 2 days. You know, like, what are we doing here? And that's where Mom's House was born. There has to be a better way. And I'm looking for investors nationwide that can help me with these leads that are coming into our system.